Grab your wand, perfect your potions, and prepare to fight he who must not be named in Harry Potter, Death Eaters Rising. Thanks for joining me at Tantrum House Studio D. I'm Melissa Delp. Harry Potter Death Eaters Rising is a cooperative dice rolling and allocation game for 2 to 4 players. It's published by the Op, and they give us this copy to review. If you're familiar with Thanos Rising, this game has a lot of similarities, but it isn't a complete reskin. The game is set during the 5th Harry Potter book, The Order of the Phoenix. You're playing as characters from the series trying to defeat the Death Eaters and ultimately Lord Voldemort. You'll choose a headquarters, either Hogwarts, the Order of the Phoenix, or Dumbledore's army, and gain one of the starting wizards associated with that headquarters. Throughout the game, you'll be taking turns until you either defeat Voldemort or you experience one of the losing conditions. Each turn has 4 phases: traveling to a location, rolling the Voldemort die, rolling and resolving your wizard dice, and then ending your turn. The game board has 3 locations: the Ministry of Magic, Diagon Alley, and Hogsmeade. You'll place 3 cards from the character deck in each location and place Voldemort on the board facing a random location. When you travel to a location, you place your mission token on the place you want to visit. The cards in this location are the only ones you'll be able to affect on your turn. Then you roll the Voldemort die to determine which way he turns, or even if he turns. At his location, you'll place a corruption token, damage any wizards there, and then activate any Death Eaters there. Now you get to roll your wizard dice. Your dice pool is shown on your headquarters card. With each roll, you'll have to assign at least 1 die to a card in your location, your headquarters card, or one of your wizard cards. If you don't, you'll have to discard a die. Then you can re-roll any remaining dice and assign again. Repeat until you've used all your dice. When you match the symbols on a wizard card at your location, you recruit that wizard onto your team. On future turns, you can use the wizard's ability. When you match the symbols on a Death Eater's card, you deal the character 1 damage and get to draw a spell token. These are bonuses you can use on any player's turn. When you fill a Death Eater's damage track, it's defeated and placed in Azkaban. At the end of your turn, you fill any spots that have been emptied, and then play passes to the next player. So as I mentioned earlier, there's only one way to win, but there are multiple ways to lose the game. It's definitely easier to lose than it is to win. So to win, you have to defeat Voldemort by damaging him 5 times. The tricky thing is the Voldemort card is placed in the middle of the deck, so you can't even fight him until it's revealed. Also, you can only damage him up to the number of Death Eaters that you've placed into Azkaban. So you have to defeat at least 5 Death Eaters before you can do 5 damage to Voldemort. To lose, just one of these 4 things has to happen. 4 places have been corrupted, or 1 location has been completely corrupted. That's both cards and the base location on the board. Or a certain number of wizards have been defeated, or 1 player has no wizards left on their team because they've all been defeated. The first game I played, we were trying to figure out that balance of using our dice to recruit wizards who are going to give us more dice to roll and more powers, or using our dice to damage the Death Eaters and try to defeat them so we're not being attacked as much. We also didn't prioritize recruiting wizards that could help heal us, so we lost a lot of wizards to Voldemort's attacks and those Death Eater powers. Some of the Death Eater effects are pretty nasty, and if you roll the Dark Mark symbol on Voldemort's die, all Death Eater effects with this symbol activate, whether or not the Death Eater is in the same location as Voldemort. You also have to keep an eye on the places. When they become corrupted, they have penalties that activate when the Dark Mark is rolled. So with all those bad things that are happening, it really does feel like Voldemort and his Death Eaters are rising against you. So you have to work together. When my group plays cooperative games, we talk a lot. There's a lot of discussion about what's going on. What are the biggest threats? Which wizards does each player want to recruit? How can we work together to keep the bad stuff down and to keep our team afloat? So you really do need to cooperate in this game. The spell tokens add to the cooperation factor. You can play them on your turn or other players' turns to help them out. During one game, we used the Trade Wizards action to get the right types of wizards to players so they could activate some of their bonus powers. In a 4-player game, it can sometimes feel like it takes a while for it to get back to your turn, but if you're staying engaged during other players' turns, then it shouldn't feel like too much downtime. Now, since the game does have dice and cards, there's going to be a fair amount of luck factor in it. There are some wizards and powers that will help you mitigate your luck with your dice rolls, letting you set dice or re-roll or add certain symbols to your turn. So it's not purely just what you roll, but that is a big part of it. How much risk are you going to take on your turn? Are you going to try to go after wizards and Death Eaters that are much simpler for the dice you have? Or are you going to try to reach for that awesome one, but it may kind of not work for you at all, and you might end your turn basically doing nothing, kind of like a bust. So it's really up to you how much you risk you put in there. Also, the game difficulty can vary, and I don't want to use the word swingy, but based on which cards come out, it can be really bad or it can be a little bit easier because those Death Eaters especially, some of their powers will almost multiply, and it feels like you're getting hit over and over and over again if you don't take care of them quickly. So the game can be a little bit more difficult or a little easier depending on which cards come out at which time and which locations they actually end up in. I really like the design of the box cover, how it makes the Sorting Hat, and if you look closely you have Voldemort's profile and Harry Potter's profile on the sides, and there's a lot to see on this box. I'm a big Harry Potter fan, so I was excited about trying this one out. The art is from the movies, and you'll see many familiar characters. The graphic design is clear and easy to understand. That Voldemort figure is pretty creepy. I felt like the game was easy to learn. Read through it and you can get up and playing very quickly. It is cooperative, so you're working together, and that can also help as people learn during other players' turns. I think there's a good amount of replayability because the 3 different headquarters each have different powers associated with them. There's tons and tons of wizards you can recruit, so your team is going to be different each time. And then the order that the cards come out and the locations that they appear in is going to be different. So the difficulty level, like I was saying earlier, can vary based on the order of the cards. And I think that is a good thing for a cooperative game, not to be too easy. So you never really know, are we going to do it this time? Or is it going to be really difficult? So there is a little bit of tension there with the game. So if you enjoy Harry Potter, which I do, and you enjoy cooperative games, especially ones that aren't super easy, then I would say check out Harry Potter Death Eaters Rising from the Up, and please like and subscribe. Grab your wand, perfect your potions, patience. Okay. DOD, I'm Melissa Delp. There is a fuzzy floating down. And I have a name, which must not be named.